What if you were here and they did the same thing? What's the difference?
If I would have been here, then you wouldn't have been struggling with the consultation. The other person
did it.
Yeah, I would have done it.
Right. But
like it happened and like we made it through, but like things don't go smoothly. I hate when things are like rocky. I want things to just like have systems in place. What are you about to say? Go ahead.
Welcome to the Strong by Choice podcast, where our purpose is to inspire women to be bold about their intentions and to take massive action working towards their goals in all areas of life.
My name is Susan Adi, better known as Susie Savage because I like to lift heavy things. I'm the owner of Better Body 757 in downtown Hampton.
Hey guys, and I'm Desiree Mills. You can also call me Cosmic Ray. Let's get in tune with this episode.
All right. Today's episode is important because this is something that I experience a lot in my life because I'm not super great with organizing and people telling me no. So burnout. Burnout is a real thing when it comes to life in general, when it comes to career, just everything. And I personally find that I burn out most when it comes to business and life balance. And I'm a Libra, so balance is really important to me. So when I do get off track, I shut down. And then typically how it goes for me is I go hard to the point where like I don't take care of myself. I just do what I feel like needs to be done to accomplish a goal, and I neglect myself and the things I want to do, and then I like crash. And this past week has been my crash week actually because I slept through my alarm.
And then the funny thing about it is you do that. And like you try to get stuff done, but then sometimes you still don't end up getting the stuff done that you wanted to get done. And I'll be like,
yeah, and that's the real thing. That's actually
funny note. You know how we always say like we're opposites.
Yeah.
So Susan's a Libra, I'm an Aries, and we're actually on zodiac signs.
We're opposites.
We're opposites.
I believe it because we be on different pages. We'll be on the same page, but on different like spectrums. It's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that is the thing with burnout. Like you push yourself, but you get to the point where you're just like running in circles, and nothing that you really need to accomplish really gets done. And the things that you do accomplish are not done the right way, so you end up stressing.
Autopilot.
Yeah, and I deal with anxiety, and I have depression. I have seasonal depression, which literally like from a lack of sunlight, like I shut down. The worst times for me is usually like I go through two phases. I feel like February, but then also like
This month's been hard.
This month is the transition between February and March is always really hard for me because one, I expected, especially being like home in Virginia, I had in my mind, oh, spring is coming, so like I expect it to be warmer and sunny. And then Virginia does this weird thing where it's like warmer in February than it is in March sometimes, and then the rain comes and it's like I just want the sun.
Yeah.
And for me, like in order for me to get my life in balance, I really like have to have sunlight in my life. I should probably invest in one of those, what are they called? Like those UV lights you can have like indoors. But to like get my life back on track, I have to like walk outside, like spend time like literally in the sunshine. I don't know, chemically like my vitamin D might be off balance or whatever it is, but I really just like shut down.
Yeah. And I can always, well, you haven't laid on the floor, or maybe I just haven't seen it.
I haven't laid on the floor. My thing right now is sitting in the car with my head down on the wheel.
Oh my God, this one time she was texting me, she was like, I've been in the car for an hour, so I'm like, so you need to get out of the car. But it gets like that though, because when you have a certain, I think one of the reasons, especially when it comes to burnout, and for me, for myself especially, you know, you always want to try to give your all, and you always feel like you're the only one who can do it, and then you always have to do it right then and there, and then stuff pops up because life, you have other responsibilities, being a mother, a spouse, running a business, wherever it may be, going to work, going to school. So you feel like everything is already on your shoulders, and so when you miss one thing, you knock yourself for that, and so then you like, oh my gosh, I missed that, so how can I do this or whatever, and it makes you stop prioritizing certain things the way they need to go. And then sometimes very much about being in tune with things, following the energies and stuff. Sometimes you can be in a season where it really is time to rest, but if you feel like you haven't accomplished whatever it is that you think you need to accomplish, even if you've done all the work that you can, you always feel like there has to be something more. But something is telling you,
and that right there, that's a big thing that I struggle with. One, I put so much stress on myself. I have these self-imposed timelines that really, like, there's no actual, like, sensical or logical reason for why I have to get things done in this time. But I just set in my mind, I'm going to have this done by this day. And then if I throw everyone else out of whack because I'm like, y'all, like, we have to get this done. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And again, I'm not an emotional person. I just go off of logic. So to me, like, I kind of shut myself out. Like, it doesn't matter how tired I am. It doesn't matter, like, what else. I just want to get it done. And again, there may be no, like, actual reason why I need to get it done. Like, there's nothing coming up. It's just I said I was going to do it, and I stick to my word. And so I feel like if I don't accomplish things at a certain time, I'm either, like, letting myself down or letting the people around me down. If I say it, I have to do it.
Yeah. And I think one of the reasons why you do that, because I think it gives you a sense of accountability too. Like, okay, I said it, so I since you definitely are goal orientated and you have, like, certain steps and everything, it's like, I put this thing right here, so I cannot deter from this path. And if anything happens outside of that, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna still go for this. And it's like everything else around you is like, maybe you should just slow it. And so you get into you have to be aware. I know for me, like I said, I go with the energy and stuff. I'm starting to get more in tune with understanding that, like, okay, this is a time now to rest. And it's okay. We sometimes as people don't really even think about all the work that we have done because we always think it's subpar. At least for me,
I do that all the time.
Like, I could have done more. But when I'm thinking about the powerlifting stuff, when I think about all the different things I've done over this course of 8 weeks and these past 2, going on 3 years now at this point, it's like I've done a lot of work. And to me, there's a sense of trusting in all the seeds that you have planted. And I think, getting spiritual, I think God wants us to have a sense of more of trust. And I think that's when the resting period starts to come in. Because now it's like, slow down, revamp yourself, take care of yourself in whichever fashion that may be. And because once you've done all this work, so now after this, you're going to come to something else, and you need to have had that time to build yourself back up and to reset. Change some. It's also a good time to, like, change some things about yourself, reevaluate the relationships you have, the dynamic of the relationships that you have with other people, whether that's being with your spouse, your business partner, your friend, different associates, taking some people out, taking other things out, putting your focus on that. So when you're going to go to this new place of expansion and growth and abundance, you're well rested. You let go of some things that no longer serve you. So you are fully focused and aware of all the different things that you need to do. But you're still trying to rustle and bustle during this time of rest. When you get to the new place, you're like, I can't think. Nothing's coming to me. I don't understand this. Why aren't people doing that? And now you're overstressing yourself.
I low-key feel like Desiree is coming for me right now, and that she's been wanting to tell me this for like 2 years. Because her face right now is saying it all. But I am glad that you said that, because one thing that I know that I'm really bad at doing is acknowledging things that I've already done. And to me, and Ty, my significant other, he tells me all the time, like, I don't even realize, like, how much I've accomplished. Because to me, it's like, I said I was going to do something, and then I did it. Okay, on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But when I finally take a step back, I'm like, all right, I'm 28. I own a whole gym. I built this while, like, having my daughter is 3, but when we started, she was 1 at the time. Having her, other people look at me and they're like, oh my God, like, you've done so much. And to me, I'm like, but the next thing, but the next thing, but the next thing.
And the thing about that is, you're never going to be fully happy and satisfied in life if you're always looking for the next thing.
Right.
You have to sit in it. And I don't know why you don't do it, but you have to sit in it and just appreciate yourself for what you've done, and know that you have, I know you already value yourself anyway, but know to the viewers as well and to myself, know that you have value right where you are. You don't always have to, well, of course you're always going to accomplish things,
right.
but you don't always have to feel like the way my life will be better or the way I will feel like I'm important or value myself is by accomplishing something else, because then it take away, remember when we were talking about we were on the swings, it takes away from you just being. And there is such a power in just being and knowing that everything in that very moment, everything you've done, everything you didn't do, it's okay, it's beautiful, and you just get to have fun and get back to enjoying stuff, and everything won't feel like a task when you're with your daughter or whoever. It's just like you're cool, you know?
And I get what you're saying, and a lot of this has to go back to like my upbringing. Like I feel like
This is just a conversation.
we've talked about this before,
Yeah,
but I've always been like the person people relied on.
Yep.
So even like when I accomplish something, I still feel like there's other people who are looking up to me. Like even with the gym, like I feel like we have to keep improving because we have all these clients, and like seeing the transformation and things that they get from it, like that's what fuels me. So I feel like I constantly have to be giving more to them, and Des is gonna tell me something about being a giver in a minute. But like I'm always pouring into other people. I always see the potential in other people, and I feel like it takes me evolving and me going to the next level in order for them to keep thriving as well. Because like we talked about in the last podcast, like I'm in a space where like I'm breaking barriers, and so I feel like I have to be successful so the people around me can be successful. And so it's hard for me to slow down because I'm always like, well, I have to do this so we can do that. We're going to go here, so I got to finish this. This has to get done now, or else like everyone's looking to me. I'm supposed to be, I don't want to say I'm the provider, but I am the example, in which it's hard because I don't have anyone else in my circle who is where I am. You know, I have people who are older than me who are in different spaces who like they're not where I am. So I don't, and not to like negate their success or the things they've accomplished, but they're not where I want to be or living a lifestyle that I want to live. So I don't necessarily feel like they're the example of what I want my life to be. So I'm always in this space where I have to break these barriers. I have to do these things because no one else is going to do it for me, and there's no one who can show me how to do it. So it's me doing trial and error, me burning out, me trying to accomplish this. And at the same time, I feel like I haven't been able to find a team of people with the same vision and the same passion who can support my team, who can support the things that I want to accomplish. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to let someone tear down what I've created, because I have all these women who are relying on me and relying on better bodies to give them the things that they need, the support, the education, the leadership. So I can't just have anyone in my space leading my people.
100%.
So when I take a break, everything stops. And that's the hard part. Like I've tried and I've seen it fail. So it's hard for me, even like on the days where I feel like I'm supposed to be relaxing, I have to constantly check in. I have to constantly be checking my email, looking at the messages, and make sure, did this person show up? Did this?
Yeah.
And then like from there, it's like, well, how can I create better systems so I don't have to do it, but that still takes me doing work. So that's like where my dilemma is. I don't.
Do you think anybody could meet? I don't want to say meet your standard, but do you think?
I know where you're trying to go. I'm not expecting there to be another me. But that's why, like, I know that I can do everything that I do, and I can do it well. But if I can find one person to, like, be exceptional in one area, that's all that I'm asking for.
Yeah.
Because I don't need you
to do.
I'm the business owner. I do the marketing. I do training. Like, I don't need you to be able to do all of them. I need you to take one area and do it well and do it with passion. And that's the piece that I really haven't been able to find, and it kind of blows my mind, because I thought that the hard part of business would be getting to the point where you could afford a team, and really, like, that was the easiest part, because I put in the work, you know, I got the clients, like, that was easy.
Yeah.
But trying to take a step back and finding people who understand them, not only understand it, but just put that passion and put that, like, people don't care.
Yeah.
And that, like, blows my mind. I think the lack of effort on so many people's part, and, like, they're okay with doing things mediocre.
Yeah.
And especially like when you're in a service field, I feel like you should be giving 100% to the people who, like, I feel like I'm a leader in so many different aspects, being a business owner, being a mom, being a spouse, like all these different areas, and I need to put my best out in all of them. So if I'm like expecting one person to come in and like even like for a trainer, it's not hard to become a trainer. It's not hard to think of the exercises. It's not hard to understand nutrition and to teach it to people. It is hard to find someone who cares about your people as much as they should, who put in that extra effort, who check in on them to make sure that they're not, you know, just going through the motions, but really understanding and creating a lifestyle.
Right.
And it's hard for me to take that step back because this is my baby, and this is like I want to help people, and I see the potential in people, and I need someone else who has that same quality. I know that there's no one else in this area who is an athletic trainer, who's a strength and conditioning coach, who is 28, owns a business, and like I know that, and I don't expect that. I don't have that level of expectation, but I do expect you to come in and to have a level of confidence and have leadership and to be good at what you do and to lead my people in a way that I would want you to.
Yeah. And you want to make sure like your baby's going to be well taken care of, and like it's going to continue to grow, and the people here are going to get that same experience. And I think, like you said, I don't think people find this. It's like for me, it's like finding the seriousness of getting the things together in your life, but also keeping that sense of happiness and joy.
Right.
And I know for me, I feel like I can do everything, and so I try to make sure, like, if you need help with something, I'm not really sure about it, but I'll do this. But that's in my sense of wanting to feel valued and worthy. But then as these months especially have gone by, it's like you always tell me, you gotta pick one thing and do it. It's like, I'm only good in this area. That's all I have to offer.
Right. And like, I know that I'm good at a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I have the drive and I have the confidence. I have the ability to learn things that I want to. But that doesn't mean it's in my zone of genius. And that doesn't mean that I enjoy doing it. And
like making videos.
Just can't. Like I can make videos. I can physically, I can figure out how to do all these things. But if I have to keep doing them, I'm gonna burn out. And then it's not gonna be of quality either. Like, you can produce it, it's easy. There's so many different apps you're gonna have, but it won't be like the quality that you wanted. You're going through the motions.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like when concerning a burnout, you can do it all, of course.
Right.
But people can pick up on if there's not really not quality, but people can pick up on it. Like, it's not gonna register.
You can tell whether somebody spent 5 minutes on something or 5 hours.
Yep. And it's because, especially if you're passionate about it, it doesn't matter if you're there for hours. Even doing a podcast, I'm passionate
but
about
that's the hard part. Like, when you get to the point where you're burnt out, even the things that you love become a chore.
Yeah.
And so it shows up in all these different,
like doing your hair, painting your toes, whatever it may. Going for a walk even seems like I gotta schedule that in.
Getting out of bed. It gets hard. It gets real hard.
Coming home hoping your husband already put your daughter to bed, because if you got to repeat the cat one more time and you're tired, task.
Yeah, so I know, like, right now I'm in a hard space trying to find that balance. I know what I need, but I haven't been able to find the...
Yeah, so I understand, like, why you operate. I understand.
Yeah. So I want to slow down and I want to live in the moment, but... Even like last weekend, I try to take my Mondays off so I can actually reset, because I work Saturdays, record the podcast Sunday. Monday was when we were in a Massanutten, and everything went wrong. Even when me just like being away, it was like people overslept, people didn't show up.
But then what if you were here and they did the same thing? What's the difference?
If I would have been here, then you wouldn't have been struggling with the consultation, and it was 2 people in the ones that the other person
did it.
Yeah, I would have done it.
Right, but
like it happened, and like we made it through, but like things don't go smoothly. I hate when things are like rocky. I want things to just like have systems in place. What are you about to say? Go ahead.
Because I get what you're saying. You're like, oh, I left and then things went bad. But that's what I'm saying. Well, if you were here, it still would have been a chance it would have went bad. Granted, yeah, I wouldn't have had to do the consultation. But
like, even like with the morning classes, like the response that I got, yeah, it happened. Someone else was there to take it on.
But then I got backlash from,
Who would you get backlash from?
I don't want to call people out on the podcast.
Oh, but
I got not great feedback from that day.
Mm-hmm.
From right.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then that led into a whole spiral of people telling me who they do and don't enjoy. Like, it started with that day, with one person not showing up, someone having to take over that place, and then getting those messages, and then it was like, well, this person, that person, that person aren't doing this, that, and that.
Well, then,
in
so
the
in that
program.
reference, okay, we're gonna dive here. In that reference of that person not showing up, how does that reflect on you? Because would you have been?
Because I would have came in. It's not like I wasn't awake, so I would have came in. I would have led the classes, and then the people wouldn't have been mad. They got a lesser quality product that day.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. What are you trying to? You're telling me I don't understand. What do you?
Well, nothing. I can't really explain it.
There was a person in place that didn't show up, didn't do their job. So then somebody else had to come in who wasn't prepared, who couldn't give the quality that would. If I was there, I could have came in. So I would have. It goes back to
on you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If I could find a team of people who are passionate, who are committed, then I wouldn't feel like that. But right now, it's like every time I try to step away, I get the resistance.
Mm-hmm.
I get even like when I try to change one thing, I try to create one different class, and it's like, well, I want to do this. Everyone wants to do the one thing that I'm teaching, but there's only one me, and I can't. I don't have other people who can teach that class because no one is certified, no one is experienced. So then that comes back to me teaching all these different classes. I can't find that person that give me that support where I can step away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when I try to take time off or when I try to pull back, everyone's like, "But no, we want to do this. This is your gym. This is what you're teaching. We want this kind of class." You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So, like, I want to take time off. I want to pull back. I want to be a business owner and not be my business.
So how would you say you find a way where you don't go into a total burnout? What is that? How would you detail that?
It would be finding balance where I'm not in the gym 5-6 days a week, where I'm not training in the morning and in the evening. It would be where I have someone who could take over the marketing. It could be where I have someone who could take over the accountability or like whatever that piece is. But how many people have we gone through at this point? Between trainers, between people trying to do consultations. I've gone through 3 or 4 different marketing agencies who just didn't understand my vision, who didn't understand the kind of advertising they tried to put out there, didn't match the purpose of the vision behind Better Bodies, who were getting people in who weren't a match for us. So I'm wasting money bringing in these random leads. So
when do you know when to step back? Because even like when you step back, I don't think necessarily means step back for a moment means to step back for a longer.
So honestly, like giving advice to other people, you should set it up that way from the beginning. If you want to have a successful business, one, you have to define what kind of business and what level you want it to be on. Because there's a difference between, an employee mindset where like you've created something and you want to work that job, and CEO, like, this is the business, but I'm not going to be in the daily grind of it.
Yeah.
So you need to set that intention from the beginning, understand what your goal is. Because if I would have never started off training, people would have never wanted to train with me. So it would have been easy. I know enough about advertising and bringing people in where if I wanted to set up a Zumba class or whatever, and having a Zumba instructor is real easy. Everyone's certified in Zumba and no one has expectations of that.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been easy. But because I started off and because I am the example, people want to be like me, and I can't find people who are like me, I messed myself up from the beginning.
Yeah.
And so now it's like I'm backtracking. I'm trying to pull away from something I created, but I don't have anyone else who can replicate me.
Right now.
Yeah, right now in this moment. I'm trying to train people to get to that point.
Yeah.
And I think that will bring me some relief. But in this moment, I don't have that. So looking back, that's what I wish I would have done differently. I would have set the business up differently. I wouldn't have been in the nitty gritty of it so much.
Yeah.
But I mean, hindsight is 20/20.
Right. So what do you recommend now? What do you think you can do now to kind of help with the burnout? Do you have any things that you're trying to practice?
Well, taking my Mondays back, so trying not to work or to not physically be in the gym on Mondays. And then also trying not
because I wake up early every day. Well, I've been sleeping through my alarm, so not as early. But usually I'm up by 3:30, 4 o'clock every day because I have clients at 5 o'clock. So if I want to get anything done, typically how my days go, I try to get, like, plan my day out, any kind of, like, admin work I need to do before I train my first client. I have a 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. I usually have someone at 7, whether that's training one of the trainers or one of my one-on-one clients. By the time I get through that stuff, my daughter is at the gym. And once she's at the gym, there's no, like, sitting down to do any kind of admin work. She is off the chain. I love her to death, but her energy is on 1,000, and she is the only child, and she wants your full attention.
Full.
So I'm not going to... She's my priority, and so I'm not going to take away from my experience with her. Because honestly, when I think about the things I want to do with my life, like, I want to be a mom and I want to lift heavy things.
Yeah.
So those need to be, like, my priorities. And when I get away from putting those things first is when I do feel most out of balance. When I'm like, oh, London's annoying me because I'm trying to get work done, that's how I know I've gone too far.
Yeah.
Because my daughter never annoys me, ever. So at that point when she is, that's how I know I'm burnt out, I'm tired, I need to take a step back. And in those moments, like, for example, the past 2 weeks, I know that I have to change my schedule.
Yeah.
I can't keep coming in at 4 a.m. and being at the gym till 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Granted, I have that window in the middle of the day, but I use that time to spend with my daughter.
Yes.
It's not like I'm resting.
Right.
You know, we're going to the park, we're whatever, making her lunch, taking out, whatever she wants to do in that time, that's her time. So at no point in the day is there ever a shutdown. I work out every day, honestly. I have my 4 heavy lift days, but, like, now that it's getting warmer again, like, I like running.
Yeah.
So I pretty much work out every day. And so, like, that is my only me time. I don't have time to sit down and just think. I don't have time to just sit down and reflect. I don't have time to just be Susan.
So, like, right now, I'm just trying to kind of develop or to implement that space again.
Yeah.
Where I can
Find time to do more of the things I want to do. Like, I like painting, and I never get to paint anymore.
Yeah.
So the things that I've been trying to do are rearrange my schedule and then trying to find more times where I can just be me and spend time outside. Because, again, with that, like, seasonal depression, I have to be outside. I have to be in sunlight or else I don't get up in the morning.
Downhill.
Yeah. What about you?
with my burnout. I think my biggest burnout definitely goes into like I wouldn't even say the physical work. I feel like I can almost bear that. I think it's like more my
You're emotional.
my mental emotional game. Like,
And the thing that I noticed with you is that Desiree is mama bear. She takes on the burdens of other people and doesn't release her own. So she gets to a point where like things get too heavy and she like keeps holding it in, and then she finally has I can't do this today.
I think it's like I take on, like, even like when you saying that about the gym, like I'm like in my mind like it's so my fault. I can do more. Like I could do this. Like, oh, I'll cover this. I'll cover that. But then when I do that, I stifle what it is that I want.
Right.
So it's like finding that balance. Like you said, I'm a giver.
Mm-hmm.
I find my value a lot of times, or I did find my value in what I could do for other people. Because I've always been, I've growing up, I never had to struggle for anything, but I always felt like I was the most responsible one.
Right.
Like I had to be responsible. Even growing up in my circle of friends, I feel like I've always been mature for my age. Like I've always been like the wise one, like she said, I'm like the mama bear one. So for me, when I feel like I'm not able to meet a standard, or if I feel like I can give more and I don't, or I feel like what I've done isn't enough to like really provide that help, like I want to be that person, that hero. If I can't do that, then I think everything is my fault, and it's not. And I think my biggest struggle is to be okay with like knowing where my limitations are and just let it rock. Like there's nothing more I can do, because I can do all these things for you, but then again,
and then we'll just both be burnt out.
We'll both be burnt out, And then nothing gets done because I know my expertise, my genius is in one certain area, and I can give my all to that and make it beautiful, or I can keep trying to tether myself, which is the same thing that you do, tether myself in all these different
everything's
avenues.
mediocre.
Yeah, and I think it's also, again, for me, it's just like being okay with saying, like, I choose me first.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to do that because I feel like when I say I choose me first, it's wrong. It's wrong, and I don't want to ever disappoint anyone, or if I feel like I don't want to carry, like, I don't want to feel guilty, or I feel like if I pull away from a certain sector, then I'm just an effed up person because I left somebody out. And it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, and that's such a mom, like, spouse, just like, I think just like as a woman, we do that a lot. We feel like just that, like, mama, like, we have to be strong and we have to help everyone, and like we can't have a moment to be weak.
Yeah, and it's also a sense of control.
Like in like our relationships, I feel like we can't like we can't even be vulnerable sometimes because it's like if I break down, then I don't know, I'm not a good mom or I'm not whatever. So you feel like you just have to like keep it together and just keep pushing.
Yeah, and that's why I say when we talked about earlier about just being. So even if I am sad about something, I'm just sad. It doesn't mean it's gonna last forever. And I know, like, you know, I can move past it.
Right.
But then it also goes into that space of, for me, knowing the seasons of trusting. So like I don't like. We were just talking about this like earlier in the week. We were trying to make a decision, and I looked at Susan. I said, Susan, I don't think we should make a decision right now. I said, because I hate when I don't know something. I hate trying to make a decision when I don't know, because it does. I know sometimes you can't always go on like what feels good, but I just be knowing sometimes. So like if things are super hectic and nothing seems to be going right, I know at times you do have to just make a decision and trust. But other times I'm like, wait, you know what? During this time, I know I need to like just sit back for a second. But it's like I fall into that a little too much. I'll sit back too much, and I have to make sure I make that plan of action. And again, it's because I'm not always confident in myself of what I'm really capable of doing.
Right.
And
you don't like failing.
I don't like failing. I don't like being wrong. I need to be right about everything.
I don't like being wrong, but I accept that I am, and honestly I don't care about failing.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm getting better with it.
Yeah. To me, I don't feel like I've ever failed at anything because I've learned from it and I've like accomplished more because of it. So I'm not afraid to like go out and try something random or just like completely like outside of my comfort zone, because I don't care. I did it. If you gonna judge me, you didn't do it. Like,
yeah. And
I don't care what people think.
I care too much.
Yeah, especially like we talk about being like unapologetic. I really just don't care anymore.
I'm starting to be better at that. Like,
Because, and here's the
I always feel like I never want to hurt anyone's feelings.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Because the loudest critics are the most insecure people, and they're the ones who haven't accomplished anything.
That's true.
Because if there's no woman who's like in power, woman or man who's like looking down, talking crap about people, they don't care what they're doing because they're focused on what they're accomplishing.
Yeah.
Like if you got time to be worried about what someone is doing and to talk about what like their decisions, their life, their family, like whatever, like you're not doing nothing.
You're not doing nothing.
And I don't value your opinion.
Yeah. So
I don't care. I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna, even if I fail and you got something to say, fight me.
Yeah. And I think that's the purpose of this podcast of, you know, one, understanding your burnouts. Like you always want to make sure you give your all and you're able to, you know, especially if you feel like if you literally are the only one, you have to keep striving, keep persevering until you're able to find that right team, that community that can help you throughout it all.
But you do want to be intentional about trying to set yourself up to be in a better space.
Yeah.
And knowing that if you keep on that path, eventually you're going to crash.
Eventually, it's like picking up. As soon as you start to feel something, as soon as you start to feel that little, like something ain't right, that's when you start, like Susan said, you know, like, let me change up my schedule.
Yeah.
Lunch is annoying me more than usual, and that never really happens, so let me change this up. Even like for me, it's like when I'm doing something and I'm like, okay, I'm not as happy anymore, or I feel like I'm veering off too far, or I feel just overworked myself, like, okay, let me do something that I find happiness and joy of. Let me step back for a second, or let me do more or something. I think for me is like do more of something, not in regards to other people, but in regards solely for myself. That's my biggest thing, because I can do more for you.
Right.
I don't necessarily like to think I have an employee mindset. I've always been a leader of the group as well. Like, if I'm doing a project, I'm either the best at it or I'm the leader of it.
Yeah, but you can be good at being, I don't want to say an assistant, but like that helping hand. And some people, I feel like they have the mentality, like, if I can only be number one, and like if you're not the person like in the spot, like you don't want to do it. And I think that like that support system and that support team is so important. And people need to stop like downplaying the importance of like being a support person, especially like in the bigger picture of things.
That's true. I never really thought of it that way.
And again, like, you're gonna get your time to shine, but it's gonna be in a different area. Like, if it's not your, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
If it's not like your area of expertise, like, why does it matter who's in front? If you're being the best you when you're supporting that person, like, why does it matter?
Yeah.
And especially if you get fulfillment out of it. If you're like, I'm great at this. Like, this wouldn't have happened if I didn't come in, if I didn't organize this. Like, you downplay like how much you help me all the time. Like, just like little things. Like, this could not happen if you weren't part of the support team.
Yeah.
You have no feedback because you know it's right. And you think that because you're not like in the spotlight, you're not like in the forefront, that you don't feel as important. And I think that you downplay it a lot.
But it's not that I don't feel important, because I recognize the role that I play in this whole debacle, but I also recognize the role I didn't play in making sure that wherever happens with this, you know how, like, remember I told you, like, I had this thing with my mom and my sister, she got pregnant, and then my mom was like, you don't need this because your sister is in a worse situation than you are, so your needs and wants aren't as important.
Not a priority.
And I feel like I make my husband and Brielle that, because no matter what, I'm building up something and I know I'm a part of it, but if it doesn't go that way, what do I have? It doesn't, whether this goes well or it doesn't, I have to go back to what my own family, and if I feel like I put them second, personally, I feel like I put them second in a lot of ways because of my own self, because I'm also afraid of failing and being who I am and creating my own thing, because I'm still not very sure of it. And so I put my efforts in other places, and yes, it's building up to be something great and something beautiful, but residually, what does that add to myself in all essence? And I know who I am. I know how I operate, and I know that the way I set things up, there's certain boundaries I have to start putting in place, or I'm going to keep going down this road and I'm not going to accomplish it. And I know that, and I accept it. And I know there's a time where you have to say no.
Right.
So it's a weird space. It's just burnouts. I think everybody right now is going through, spring equinox is coming up, Easter's coming up, everybody's dead right now. We about to rise up out of this mess.
Everyone's been in a funk.
So you have to be able just to know when you need to step back and when you need to step up, whether that's stepping back from situations and stepping up into a new one, or whether it's in relationships, whatever it may be. You need to understand where you are and know where you want to be. And once you do that,
and be okay with setting boundaries. And even if you've been traditionally been the giver, it doesn't mean you have to be in every situation. You know, you have to refill your cup. I hate saying that. It's such a cliche thing.
I say confidence tank.
I think that's kind of whack too. Yeah. But really just resetting and refueling so you can be the best version of you and you can pour more into other people.
Yeah.
Because you can't help anybody if you're dead all the time. Nope. You don't show up when you're half there, when you're sleeping through your alarms. I can physically be somewhere and not be somewhere.
When you're half at nobody showing up sometimes it's not as important as showing up if you're just half butting it.
Yeah.
For the people who don't like cursing, half butting it. You have to be able to give your all. And so again, knowing when to step back or step up is key.
Yeah. So moral of this story, set boundaries, refill your tank, do all that good stuff. Don't let other people's perception of you define how you take care of yourself either.
Yeah.
Know what you need to be the best version of you, and don't be afraid to ask for that and to go after that.
Yeah. And know know that you don't have to take it all on your own, and you can't always be everyone's rescue
Everything.
and hero. Just don't. Just you have value in where you are in itself. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody to make yourself feel good.
Or, all right, we're gonna end that here.
That was too much. I feel like I went to therapy. I'm done.
We're gonna end this episode here.
Tell me, guys, what are you facing in life where you feel like you're just getting burnt out in? Like, where do you feel like you can improve? Where do you feel like you need to step back or step up into? Can you relate to anything that we said right now? And we definitely would love to hear from you guys and of how you're feeling about certain things.
And what you do for self-care.
Yes.
You know, maybe someone else can benefit from what you do. So feel free, go to our post, go to our page, and tell us a little bit about your self-care routine and maybe some suggestions for,
I might need
other
some.
women. Yeah, because, you know, like we just talked about, I'm really bad at it. So if you have some suggestions besides working out,
Let me know.
I might try it. I probably won't because I'm stubborn. Maybe when I really burn out. No.
Yeah.
But anyways, comment, like, subscribe, share all that good stuff. We appreciate you guys being here. Until next time, I'm Susie Savage.
And I'm Desiree Casaray.
Don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, and share on Facebook at Strong by Choice and also on Instagram at Strong_by Choice.